That's a peach, son. Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
So, all right, we're back with the Sandy McFittage PGA Special Extravaganza. This is one of our special pods. We did not play golf this last week, but we did watch a lot of golf. We interacted with a lot of golf. And we want to talk about a little bit of golf. You know, we don't historically spend a lot of time going deep on the PGA. A lot of other people talking about that. We don't need to do that. But I think there's some things that happened this week that I think it could spur some good conversation. And I'm all about good conversation with good people, and that's what we got here. So on the pod to start out with, we might have some more people coming in late, but we have the ex-commish with us, Mr. Potts.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, we got the senator.
Good evening as well.
There we go. And we got some other ones that may pop in later. We'll see if they show up. If they don't, well, too bad for them. We probably will talk about them. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. So my first thing is let's first off, just for the week, what were you guys' first impressions, your first impressions, your first thoughts coming out of this PGA champion? How do you think it stacked up? What do you think?
My first thought, and I said it several times, there was actually two things. One, how big the crowds were. I assume the thing was sold out, which means they had as many people there that they can manage.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You know, as a city that's hosting it, you want the thing full. And I think that it was. The second thing, and I would put this out to anybody, and I'm sure the U.S. Open and maybe any golf tournament is the same. But if the PGA comes to your town, go to it, because it is an absolute first class, first rate, very well run production.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And we're actually going to go into, I got a whole section here talking about the course and how that was set up. But I think, like you said, the event itself, the people, you want to see it like sardines. Look at the member tent. Did you ever walk by the member tent, the Southern Hills members tent? Mm-hmm. I mean, it looked like they were getting ready to pack people off. It looked like a Stillwater bar on, closing time. There were so many kids packed in on the balconies. It was kind of scary. I thought it was going to crumple over. Uh-oh. So, Senator, how about you? What were your kind of initial thoughts? What do you got the first kind of blowout for the tournament?
Well, the first thing I would have to say, kind of along with Robert was saying, it was amazing how well they handled the crowds there. I mean, I parked at the Mabee Center, which is a mile away, parked, walked in, jumped on the bus. I was there, walked in. I was fortunate enough to have complimentary military tickets. So PGA gives retired veterans two free tickets for every day. So walked up to Will Call, handed him my ID, gave me 2 tickets, and went in, and then, saw the PGA merchandise store, which blew me away. And it was amazing how much product they had there and how they were I mean, it wasn't like if you want small, medium, large, extra large, double extra large, they had it. And they had every hat and everything. There was no empty slots. So, it was pretty amazing. And then, as Robert said, it was obviously very well attended by city of Tulsa. I have to give it up to the people actually, there were people from Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Arkansas, Dallas, everywhere. Yeah. And then the other observation I had is, damn, those guys can hit a golf ball a long, long, long way.
Yeah.
That's what probably I will take away from it probably more than anything is we're not even in their league, the distance that they have.
We don't play the same sport they do. I mean, we play something we call golf, but those guys play golf.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I could play a 5-iron, if I could play a 5-par driver 6-iron, I'd be pretty good too. But I can't.
Well, they had a par 3 there. It was number 8 on Sunday. It played 255. Yeah. It was par 3.
Yeah.
And it still wasn't long enough to make Make it hard.
No.
I don't have a 255 in my bag.
Oh, well, and that's one of the things I want to talk about. So I want to get into the course a little breakdown it a little bit more because I think there's a lot there, but I'm going to hold off for a minute there because I think one thing is what was your feelings about the winner, Justin Thomas, and the events that kind of finish it off? Were you excited about Justin Thomas?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think everybody likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was really good to have a named player kind of win the tournament. You know, that's always good because in 10 years, they're going to look back and they're going to say, who won at Southern Hills? What kind of player? And they're going to say Tiger Woods and Justin Thomas. And they go, oh, those guys are pretty good. So it must be a pretty good course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been a completely different story if Meta and Woody Austin would have won. People may say like, you know what? Maybe we don't need to go back there.
Yeah, there's probably some truth to that. No, I think JT winning it and winning it in overtime like that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not like Zalatoris laid down.
No,
I mean, didn't he go 1 under through 3 holes?
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, I think he
Or did he bogey 18?
he went birdie, par, and then I think he was going in for a bogey. And Justin Thomas went birdie, par.
Yeah. Well,
Zalatoris had a drop and got an unplayable.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had-
6. On 6, he had an unplayable.
No, I'm
Okay,
talking
that
about
was
on 18. No, I think he parred it. He just didn't have to put it out
okay.
because Thomas made his par.
Right. Well, they said he had 2 strokes to win the game. I know that.
Right, because he was on the green
Yeah.
in 2. He had 2 putts to win it.
Right.
So, and that's a great finish.
No.
You know, it's not like somebody threw it in the woods and the other guy just limped in. Shit, that drive, that 3-wood Thomas hit on 17. Holy shit.
Okay. I'm going to tell you the playoff holes, and I already said we weren't going to talk about the holes, but we're going to talk about the holes. The holes they picked, 13, which is a par 5, 17 and 18. Outstanding holes. They really play right there together. 13 is a really long par 5, and Thomas played it as a 3-stroke to get on it and made a 1 putt to make his birdie, and Will Zalatoris hit the green and 2-putted to make his birdie. So they pushed on the first hole. You get to that 17. That 17 is a fabulous hole because they played it up 275, and it has that creek that snakes around the front and the back of it. I mean, it is pretty much an island that you have to hit on. It's not that big an island, and these guys are going after it with drivers and 3-woods with cuts to try to get up there. I think that is a great risk reward short par 4. I don't know what you guys think.
I agree 100%. Yeah. And Thomas proved it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I like that it was an aggregate 3. You know, just win 1.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I like that as well. So,
and I'm glad it wasn't 18.
Yeah. Oh, 18, another great hole. You got a long par.
No,
4.
I mean 18 holes.
Yeah, 18 holes, way too much.
Yeah,
I don't get time for that.
No,
ain't nobody got time for that.
3-hole aggregate, perfect.
Yeah.
Isn't that how the British Open does it now too? Don't they do it that way?
I'm not sure. The U.S. Open is an 18 hole.
Correct.
Way too much.
Right, and the Masters, I believe, is 1 hole, sudden death.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the British Open is a 3-hole aggregate as well.
I'm going to say it sounds official to me.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd lie to me, Potts.
I love it. And when Trey and I were watching it, that's one of the comments we made is yes. Because that way you don't lose it on one swing.
Yeah, you got a little time. You can kind of play it in there. And I love that 18 hole. The 18 hole is a long par 4 with a, kind of cuts back to the right. You've got that creek that runs down the right side of it. So it gets narrow. And the problem is if you don't play up there to a driver like they did, like Justin Thomas did, you've got a really long second shot.
Oh, you're 2 bills out, right?
2 bills with a 60-foot incline you got to go up.
Right.
I mean,
to a green that's not real receptive.
No. I mean, that is a nasty hole.
Yeah.
So I can't say enough about the way just in general, the whole thing. I think it showed well. I think those holes play extremely well. I think they have a lot of character. They've got a lot of style. And I think I thought Tulsa and Southern Hills looked great.
Agreed.
With the exception of the one guy standing behind on the 18 yelling, "Use your driver. You got to pull out." Did you guys hear that?
No.
It was on TV. There was a guy, every time I come, it was, "Be a big dog. Pull out that driver. You got to use the driver." I wanted to go and I said, "You're embarrassing the entire state of Oklahoma. You're an idiot."
Yeah.
I'm gonna put out two other camps of people that I think are idiots. Okay, and I'm wait till I get done here. It is the people who every time Victor or Wolf or Ricky were walking down the fairway said "boomer," and the people that every time Answer was walking down the fairway they would yell, "Go Pokes." Both those guys, look, you're an asshole. That's what I'm saying. The team, you're just being an asshole.
Yes.
But even if it was, when Victor was walking by and people would say, "Go Pokes," they're so in their game, they didn't look over and say, "Yeah, buddy, we're brothers in college is what we are." Remember when? I mean, they were zoned in. They didn't even look over,
Yeah.
Even if you were calling out the right school.
Yeah. I saw one because I was working the tee box on 5. Answer went over to get a drink after he hit out of the cooler. And so he's right there next to the players. And one of the guys, like a kid said, "Go Pokes." And he said, "Come on, man." So, I mean, they hear it. Trust me.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Don't like that.
It's shitty both ways.
It is. Come on, man. Show some respect. I mean, these are at the end of the day, these are players that played golf for college in your state. They represent your state. Even if you don't like the school, they are a product of the state, and they take a little pride in spending some of their time, in Oklahoma.
And none of them are from Oklahoma.
No,
and none of them from Oklahoma. And none of them, were growing up as 6-year-olds. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play at OSU.
Yeah. No.
They had an opportunity to go play at a great school, OU, great college school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, hell,
but they
Answer's
didn't
from
grow up
Mexico and Hovland's from Norway.
The Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Now you do have Gooch.
Yeah.
Gooch is from Midwest City.
Well, and the guy for OU now, who's really good, is from Oklahoma City. But generally speaking,
right.
Ricky's not from Oklahoma.
No, he's a Southern Cowboy who came in for 2 years.
So they don't have the same biased,
Right.
They didn't grow up with bad. They just, like you guys said, they just went there and played golf. Some of them for 1 year. So
yeah, but they still hold an affection. I mean, you still get a lot of them still have the college on their bags.
Oftentimes, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate them. That's what I'm saying. I would never.
I agree.
Look, everybody knows I'm going orange. If I got to take a choice between two, but I would never disrespect Abe Answer. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I'm proud to say that he played golf in our state.
And I would say, and y'all all know where my allegiances lie, Crimson and Cream. I'm not sure that OSU doesn't have the most, at least currently, active players on tour.
No, you got a ton.
Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah.
I mean, you can name 5 right now.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
6.
you're probably the only ones at Georgia or someplace like that I just don't know. But yeah,
I
there's
would
a lot.
start with OSU and see if that doesn't win.
Yeah.
So anyway, hats off to him. It's a hell of a golf school. So
yeah,
it has been for a long time.
Oh yeah. So
yeah,
all right.
it's a dick move.
Now I will tell you though, that when you talk about comments from the crowd though, I don't know if you guys ever followed Patrick Reed though.
Was he catching shit?
They were like, "Well, you stole that stroke." I mean, he walked by. I just happened to walk with him just on 3 different occasions, and they were like, "Watch your wallets, folks." And
wow, yeah,
I mean, they were ruthless. Hey, put that club away, caddy.
See, I don't get it. Look, hey, maybe I got a kindred spirit now. Sometimes guys make mistakes. He's made a few more than most. you know, but he's still out there coming to our state to play golf. You know,
Yeah,
he's a hell of a golfer.
Kyle
He
goes.
is.
Kyle, he was standing there with me, and he said, "Yeah, he went to Mondo's last night." And somebody yelled, "Yeah, he probably took the recipe." The recipe. I mean, it was just.
Oh, come on. Here's my biggest problem with P. Reed is the fact that he switched over to PXG and he sucks. Dude, he cannot hit those clubs.
They're not for everybody.
No.
They're not for many people, actually.
Yeah. At $145 a club or whatever they are.
Oh, I bet it's closer to 300 club now. I mean, the damn things are $5,000, aren't they?
They've got some bargain ones, but the ones he's getting, yeah, they're crazy expensive. The ones he's going to play. But
speaking of which, Trey Potts and I were at the Golf Galaxy Sunday.
Okay.
Afternoon sometime. And he's looking to buy some new clubs. He's wanting to get something less cavity back, but not full on blades. And I found him some used Apex.
Okay.
Guess how much used Apex at Golf Galaxy are?
$650.
$1,200.
12. Oh, these are the Apex Pros that are forged, right?
Let me specify, they're used.
Yeah. Callaway Callaway Pre-Owned is where he needs to be shopping.
I couldn't believe it. I said, "Hey Trey, I think I might have found what you're looking for." And so we're like, "How much are they?" Because it didn't really have a big sticker. It was down on one of the clubs. $1,200. Wow.
Where was this?
Golf Galaxy.
Oh,
hello, Joe Gilbert.
We got a special guest jumping in here. We got Professor Joe has jumped on the pod, fresh from graduation stuff for his kid, and he said, "Hey, I got to be here to talk about."
Couldn't miss
PGA.
it.
Couldn't miss it. So yeah, Callaway Pre-Owned. Now that you know what clubs, you just got to go there and start looking.
Well, he did go hit them in the stimulator.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're for him. He didn't. I even hit them, and they just didn't have much feel to them. I mean, I really thought hitting a semi blade, you could really, you could feel the ball. Nah, it was dead.
Nah,
I didn't care for him.
He should try Joe's sub 70s.
Yeah, he would if Joe's cool with it.
Yeah,
he can get into
Joe's had those
half of that.
He's had those sub 70s, but 3-4 weeks. He's ready.
Oh, are they on the market? Are they on the market?
No way.
If they get down to 200, I'm a buyer.
They've got 4 notches in them.
Oh, do they really? Wow.
Hey,
Joe, you don't have your camera on.
Oh,
he's been lighting it up. All right, now that we got Joe here, we can start up here. I thought about this, and I wanted to get your guys. We're going to kind of work through the course, okay, and work through the whole. And so what I'm going to say is what I want to get you guys is reactions and thoughts to essentially the 4 parts of the course, and we're going to go tee boxes, fairways, traps, then greens. Okay, kind of progress through it and get your kind of thoughts on like first off. So we'll start with the tee boxes. What was your guys' thoughts about the placements, the kind of tee boxes they had at the PGA?
Number 7 tee box behind the 6th green. I mean, that thing was the size of a postage stamp sitting back there. My master bedroom closet is bigger than that tee box was back there, and it was back in the corner. I mean, let's see, what was it?
I don't know that they could have stretched it out anymore.
It's all the course they got. There's no more space.
No.
Yeah.
Sands. Hey, Joe, did anybody approach you about putting a tee box in your front yard?
No.
I mean, that's the only next
Yeah, they
option.
could.
Yeah.
I thought the tee boxes had way too much grass on. If I would have tried to tee off one of those tee boxes, I would have snapped both my ankles because my feet would have stayed in the same place.
Yeah. I mean, we're not used to playing with. We're not used to playing with.
The practice range didn't have any grass on it left.
Yeah.
Well, they did chew that up.
they chewed that practice range up like feral hogs. I mean,
Oh.
it was bad.
Yeah, they really did. I was surprised by that myself.
Which goes to say, do you notice whenever their guys are swinging, they're swinging so hard, their feet on a driver are all over the place. Like Scotty Scheffler looks like he's dancing.
Yeah, they step out of a few of them for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
No,
amazing.
it's funny though. They didn't do that on the range. I mean, their swings were so controlled on the range. Just enough effort to maximize how fast they were swinging, but still hit the exact center of the club face.
Yeah.
So it's not like they take their range game to the course exactly either. You know?
So I guess that's the lesson for all of us.
They do it a little better than we do, but
Yeah.
Well, they do, but it's basically the same game.
All right. So what about tee box placement? You know, you had a lot of them that went over. You had like 6 was behind 5 green. You had it, and they crossed over in front of the 3 tee box. And then you had, I mean, you had a lot of it where they stretched it out. They had a lot of crossing patterns there where they stretched that out. Then they only had, I think, 2 holes where they really moved the tee boxes up, and that was 17 and 5. Or the only 2 tee boxes they didn't play the exact same tee boxes for the whole week. I mean, I personally kind of wish they would have switched up more of them. You know, like 3, I wish they would have moved that up and turned it into a shorter par 4, because then that creek becomes into play. You've got a lot more excitement down there, and you're getting a lot closer and wedges coming in. Then you could have moved 6 up and had that to be a little bit shorter, as opposed to a 230-yard par 3 into a north wind that was playing 250. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what I'm going to hit.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I do.
shit.
I do. I mean,
Hell, I'm going
a
7
3
iron,
wood,
hit-
a 4
Yeah.
iron, 2 wedges.
I mean, that's it. I mean, I'm going to hit an 8 iron and then another 7 iron to get over the water.
Hey, it's just a short par 4 is all it is.
just like the 8th
Yeah.
hole of fortune, it's just a choke down driver off the tee. But you're right.
And then a wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a wedge.
I mean,
that's-
you know, that course was built almost 100 years ago, though.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't built for the way it got played this weekend. And they had to make do with, you know, where they could put those tee boxes.
Yeah.
And there was only 12 golfers, I think it was, under par.
Yeah. It played strong.
I mean, one thing I was surprised, I know you'll probably get to this, P, but how skinny a lot of those fairways were.
See, and I thought they were pretty wide comparatively.
Yeah, the landing areas, I thought they were pretty skinny in spots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 'cause two is wide.
Yeah. That was one of the things they talked about a lot, is that compared to when they set it up for the Open, because I remember when they set this up for play the Open, number 1, they cut that fairway in half.
oh really?
Yeah. So I mean, these were actually fairly wide fairways for tournament golf like this. I don't think hitting a fairway. Now the problem is that a lot of times where they were going to hit, you had a dog leg. And you had a bend, and so you didn't have as much room to run.
You got to think out there that you've almost got to read and play the fairways like you do greens and putting, because you got number 7 tree on the left and it runs down to the right. So if you fade it, you can go in the creek.
Yeah.
Number 9, number 10, number 12, number 13.
Number 1, number 2,
16,
number 3.
number 17 and 18. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's not a spray and pray. You know, you get some of those that kind of are, but this with the undulations on the fairway, it was
Just because you start in the middle of the fairway, you may not wind up
yeah. Like if you get in the middle of the fairway on 18, you're going in the creek.
Yeah.
You know, you got to play it way up there on the left side and get it far enough down where it rolls into that flat spot, you know, closer to the green. If it starts rolling hard right, you're done.
Well, you know, like number 7, I walked down and I talked to the 4 caddies and I said, "Where am I standing?" And they said, "You're at 280. If they hit 275, which I'm never going to hit 275 without a cart path being in, in the conversation. It stayed up on a ridge, but the first group that I watched come through there, the first two guys hit it. They flew 290, and it drops off that down to the right. I mean, it's a big drop. It drops 40 feet down to a lower shelf and a creek down there.
Yeah.
And now you're in a good spot when you're down there, but
you can go in that creek. The creeks were a real hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not big, but they're everywhere.
Or that rough,
change.
At the edge of the fairway, you get a foot off the fairway, you're in that 4-inch high rough trying to hit a wedge out of it and stop it on that green. I mean,
yeah, there was definitely a premium to staying in the fairways. Now, you guys, I don't know if you guys remember 2, okay? Because I had a conversation with one of the members.
Yes.
2, you notice there's a tree in the fairway.
Yes.
You know how much I hate a tree in the fairway. But I was talking to my buddy. I said, look, I remember playing this, and it's been 5-7 years, okay, since I played it. I said, I don't really remember a tree in this fairway. And he was one of the members. He goes, well, that's because when we played it, there wasn't. That was a bunch of trees, and they cleared them all out but one.
Well, the thing about, so Chuck Gibson and I, we met up at 2. I mean, behind number 1, and we right there at 2. And so we're standing at the tee box, and I said, all right, how do you play this? And he says, oh, I'm lining up to the left towards, that tree to the left. And he goes, and that way, if I slice it or, I've got a nail out spot in front of it. The creek from where they were standing wasn't even in play. I mean, that creek's 280 yards down there, 270 yards down there.
Don't forget the traps there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the first guy, I can't remember who we were watching, but he winds up, and I mean, it's like he was shot out of a cannon. And he flew the creek by 30 yards.
Yep.
It was,
and then crawled over by that tree sometimes.
Yeah, and the first guy was crawled over next to that tree. It was like Hubert or something like that, Hubert or something like that, or
Lucas Herbert.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, got a great story about him. Kid. He's coming up later.
And so he just stroked it, and I watched Rory hit it off there too, and I would have been 40, 50 yards short of the creek on a good drive.
Right.
And it nutted. And I mean, theirs were going as straight as an arrow and had afterburners on them. I mean, it was crazy the length that they were hitting the golf ball.
And it was every one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one. I mean, Will Salvatore, how do you say his last name?
Zalatoris.
Zalatoris. Yeah.
Willie Z.
I mean, he does not look like he's that big of a kid,
Yeah.
But he can murder the thing.
Murder.
He's all geometry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The width of the arc and,
Yeah.
Yep.
Flexibility helps too.
Yeah.
All right.
It is impressive to everybody's point. How damn far they hit it.
Oh, without
I mean,
doubt.
and that hole number 2 was the one that stuck in my head the most
Yeah,
because
mine too.
I was first up there by the tee box watching them hit. And I kind of had the same thought that you did, Mike. Where do you play this? And they all launched it over the creek, over the traps. Well, then I got up there, kind of followed the group and walked up there where they had landed. And I looked back at the tee box. Now, my eyes aren't that very good anymore, even with my glasses on. I couldn't even fucking see the people on the tee box. It was so far away. Like, shit.
That's why you hit that short cut, because you don't want to get it outside your vision.
Yes, that is why. Yes.
You can hit it
right.
farther, but you just want to be able to keep up track of the ball.
Right. Unless I'm going to get LASIK, I don't want to hit it too far. But anyway, it's super cool to watch. So.
All right, so now I want to progress. The next big thing are the traps. The traps on there, and you all saw Patton Kazier's comments. Pitiful golf on a pitiful setup on an overrated golf course. Hated the traps. Went
Who
off
said
on the
that?
traps. Patton Kazier.
Fuck him.
Yeah,
Is he a player?
Yeah, he's a player, last place.
Oh,
So I thought Tiger got last.
Yeah, well, that's only because he withdrew. But he was
Okay.
right. He started the day in last place. I think he was the last in of the cut.
What a jerk.
No, but I will say that. What was your thoughts on the trap? Because I thought the traps were real penalties.
You know, they
Well,
should-
they
they're
said, I mean,
supposed
this
to
is-
be.
Yeah,
Yeah. I heard them say, that the sand they brought in was rounder, something along like more coarse, and these guys were used to playing out of fluffier sand, powder lights. I mean, I listened to that now, and to be on TV, commentators on TV, they say, hey, you know what? There's a lot of people in traps in this, and quite honestly, I think a lot of people were trying to play the ball into the trap. They were trying to hit them. Okay, this is a par 5. I can reach it in 2, but I'm going to put it in that front trap.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario. So there were a lot of people in the traps, and they did say that in the beginning that the trap play was kind of pitiful. And it looked better than my balls out of the trap. Their balls went up and landed on the green.
yeah. Well, and that's what they're saying is that you couldn't spin it out of the trap. And their traditional things, because they were compacted because it had rained and everything else, but they're compacted, a hard, grainy sand. It's not fluffy. It's not this crushed velvet that they're used to play on the prima donna PGA Tour courses. I mean, this was I thought it was a real test, and if you got in a trap, you had a potential to have a real problem.
They bitched about, they're so used to the trap isn't a real penalty. Like you said, you can get it up there, you can spin it, they stop it within a foot or two of the trap. And, they didn't play the course the way they needed to play it to score well. They played it the way they play some course in Florida. And then they bitched about it because they couldn't figure it out.
Right. And you started seeing it better, but the first time I did see one, and it was another pad. It was Patrick McIntyre. Somebody I think was the guy I was watching. I saw him do a hobby. He went from one trap on 5, front right, to the front left, and then left it in the front left again. So he had 3 strokes in the trap to get out. He was blazingly hot.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
So my daughter and I were sitting in the grandstands on 12 Saturday, and the guy, it started with an H. It was like Hickok or something. His second shot plugged in the top of the bunker on the left. And, he had to try to hit it out of there, but to get a stance, it was like 1 foot was way up high and he had to dig his right foot in. So there was a big hole where his right foot was. He hit the ball. It didn't come out. It bounced like off the lip, almost hit him. He jumped out of the way, but it came to rest in his footprint. And I mean, it was like deep.
Oh, it was deep. I saw that on TV.
He took a hack with his second shot, didn't get out. And then he hit his third shot out of the bunker, just a good bunker shot. He landed short of the hole and it probably rolled 12 or 15 feet, but he holed it for a 5.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. But he also hit it out, and let it run that last 10 feet. He didn't try to spin it right at the hole and bitch because he couldn't stop it.
Yeah. Which makes me think is I know, Joe, I know you saw it. I don't know if the rest of you guys did. The foreplay guys had the Tulsa Tango at La Fortune, and those traps, really, the sand's probably not a whole lot different than the traps out at Southern Hills. Not as high quality. Yeah, Southern Hills brought in their tournament sand or whatever, but I mean, it's a really rough, grainy sand that they're really compact. And Homa did a whole thing about how you hit into those traps. He said, when you have traps that are compact like this, they're not fluffy. You can't try to kind of come in thin with the face open and expect to pop it up, because you will bounce into the you'll equator the ball and it's going to go flying. You've got a plan to go down and dig.
I saw something that sand is like a number 6 grind, I think they called it, and there's a spec. So it's Arkansas River sand, but it's the same sand that Perry Maxwell spec'd
Okay.
originally. So it's like, that's what they had when the course was first built.
That's interesting.
Huh, I like
Well,
it.
you think Perry Maxwell, I mean, he built sand traps, and where do you get sand?
Yeah.
Out of the Arkansas River. I mean,
So,
you don't say, hey, I need to get something out of, the Russian River in Washington or something.
So
along those
Purcell,
lines.
you've played in Scotland. I mean, what's the sand in the traps there like? Is it like native type sand or?
yeah, I mean, like most of the courses there are like my greatest impression. It wasn't about the tracks. I didn't ask about the sand because I didn't think about it. Is that I was on the fairway and I'm playing this course, and I asked my caddy, I said, what kind of grass do they use here? What kind of grass is on the ground? Because we've got, Bermuda, we've got this bent, we've got, fescue. He goes, well, it's the stuff that grows on the ground, dude. Like I'm an idiot. Like, dude, there's grass on the ground. We just use what's there. We're not.
This is cut grass.
Yeah. I think it was a little grainier. I mean, I think it was a little grainier, not quite as fluffy, probably not as compact. But their thing is they don't build up the walls. They peat wall it, and then you're just down in the bottom.
Well, I mean, traps in Scotland are where shepherds used to take their favorite sheep, right?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing good is supposed to happen. So,
There's a reason they call it a trap.
yeah. The sheep's like, oh, shit, not again.
Not
Shit,
again.
I think I fell into his trap again.
Yeah.
Faraday told a great joke. I hope we get into all the stuff that went on around town, but he was like, you know how a Scottish person counts his sheep? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely want to get to some of the other stuff that happened around town. I know Faraday was in town and everything else, but before we get that, I want to real quick finish up on the course, the greens. What do you guys think about the greens? They redid the greens. They shaved a bunch of the buildup that had happened, so they had the rough things. But they actually, I thought, I mean, they slowed down the greens to what a normal tournament was. These rolled about like a 9.5 to a 10, and normally these guys are playing on something 11 to 12.
And when they were 20 feet away, 30 feet, they were banging the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like, oh my gosh, if you do that, it's going off the other, it's going to go off the green. But it wasn't. Now I saw something. Did they not cut the grass between the greens between
On
the first
Friday.
and second round?
They didn't
Because they
cut it
thought
on
it was
Friday, I believe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of the wind and the heat.
Yeah.
But then we got all that rain,
Right.
and it kind of.
And no heat.
I'm not sure they expected the rain, did they?
They knew it was going to switch around. I don't think they expected to get quite as cold. They knew the wind was going to switch.
Yeah.
I don't think they
Yeah.
expected to be as strong coming out of the north. They expected a lighter wind,
Yeah.
and it came out pretty hard.
Because how many shots did you guys see that maybe came up a little short and went back down to the fairway? I don't think there were many.
Not as many as I would have expected, but I think that also came into the fact that they did not cut those greens as tight as
Right.
they could.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't have been able to kept a ball on those greens.
Right.
I did
Which
see
is normally
several.
what you see.
Yeah, I did see several, and I really like this. You'd see a guy spin it into the green, and I love seeing them spin it, and it overspins and hits the edge and goes into the trap. I kind of laughed a little bit when that would happen.
The only question I had was the hole integrity, because I saw a lot of people and they were putting those things so slow to the hole.
Yeah.
It was amazing how many slow revolutions you could see it take. And it would get to the hole and it looked like it should have kept rolling in. And it would take a hard break right at the hole, which I don't really think was in the green. It was like there was some kind of lip, or there was just an artificial break.
Right
and then
there.
all of those shots that horseshoed around the hole and came back at it.
Yeah.
It seemed like there were a lot more of those than there maybe should have been for a major championship.
The guys on TV kept saying that this is the most I've ever seen. And these are guys who call golf, tournaments every single week. That's what they've been doing for the last 20 years. And when they're saying this is the most lip outs I have ever seen, it's not even close.
And there, look at Rory on Saturday. Didn't he hit the first 10 greens, but he had 8 lip outs like that or something?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean, it conceivably really affected
maybe
the winner, I think.
I think what was the course we played where they it felt like they pulled, it was at Heritage Hills
Claremore.
They pulled up you could tell when they pulled out the new pins, they kind of pulled up all the ground around. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But I do know that one thing about those greens, another reason why they couldn't speed them up too much, is because this is probably one of the few tournaments you see where a lot of the putts, they're starting the ball outside the hole. Because there was a lot of movement in those greens. They couldn't just start it dead at it. So that may also attribute to a lot of lip outs because you weren't coming in straight at it. You were coming in from angles and different things like that. So
I always come in from an angle.
Yeah, I like to hit a cut putt with a little,
little baby draw.
Yeah, I like to draw my putts. So I thought
really,
they could.
Most of my final putts are gimmies because there's my third putt.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, we get tired of seeing you putt.
Yeah,
inside of 3 putts, man, I'm inside 18 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I think so. I think, look, I kind of at first wanted them to speed up those greens. I was hoping they were going to come shave them on Sunday, but I think the carnage would have been just too much. If balls would have just started rolling off all the greens every time they get in the wrong third of it.
Changed it. Yeah.
They would have bitched about that then. It's unfair, like some of the U.S. Opens where you hit a good shot and you don't get rewarded.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, once again, I think the course showed well. I think it looked really good. I think it was hard, but I think it was playable. I mean, I don't think they didn't have to take it to an extreme where it was an unplayable course like you see a lot of these majors get to, where they speed up the greens and harden everything. I think it was still very playable if guys played the course the way it was supposed to be. And if they didn't, they got in troubles. If you were going to try to cheat it and hit the trap, you weren't going to be able to get out, roll it, and keep it on the short side, which, look, going back to what original said, Meta, I'm not exactly sure how he went through, I think it was 9 and 10. I don't know if you guys remember that. 9, he hit it short left and short side himself in the trap right by the pin. I thought that was an automatic bogey. Somehow he got that up and down. And they did the same thing on 10 where he hit it off to the left.
He hit it with the backside.
Yeah, he's sitting on the backside. I thought there's no way he's going to be able to get that up and stop it. He got it up and stopped. And I think he did it the same thing again on 11. Yeah. I think 3 holes. I'm like, there's no way. And he got through that. So he played amazingly to get to the point where he could, completely implode on the 18th hole. Not saying I've ever done that.
The course was not easy. I mean, what won it? Was 6 under?
Yeah.
These guys right here, I mean, they're plus 3s, and it was 6 under after 4 rounds.
Yeah.
They
were working for it. So, all right. So real quick, what do you guys, what about the other stuff around town? There was a lot of other events that happened. One of them was the Tulsa Tango. What else did you guys go to? What else did you guys see? What did you guys hear about?
I went to this deal that the Don Thornton Auto Group put on Tuesday night, I guess, at the Summit Club.
Okay.
And so they had Matthew Wolf, Victor Hovland, John Daly, and Kevin Kisner. And they had a guy from the Golf Channel, I can't remember what his name was, who kind of acted as the moderator. And they sat in front of the room and just told some stories and then took questions. And so we get there and we go through the buffet and we're looking for a place to sit. And we sit at this table and we didn't notice it, but like 6 feet in front of our table are these like 5 bar stools lined up against the window. We were like where I think Don Thornton was supposed to be. Nobody said anything to us, but we were right there in front. But we got there, we parked over at the AEP building and walked over and went on the ground floor. We got in the elevator. It stops on the 4th floor, and in walks Kisner. And it was me and a guy from work and some other dude, and the other dude didn't recognize him, but Brad and I were like, it's him. Yeah. We had been bitching about the beers and how big they were, and he kind of gave us a look like, let's not get carried away, fellas. You know, we're like, hey, how are you? You know, glad to see you're doing this. This is really cool. And, you know, he was cordial, but he didn't invite us to go have beers or anything afterwards.
He didn't ask you to ask you, hey, let's go do a scramble together. Yeah.
There was one great story John Daly told at that, though. An older guy said, John, you know, you were here in 2007 and you played your practice round today. How does the course compare? And he said, well, I was here in 2007, but I played my practice round at Cherokee Hills. He said, we woke up on Wednesday and we were all hungover and didn't feel like driving over there. And we saw there was a tournament going on at Cherokee Hills, and they had ice chest full of beer all around the course. So we just entered that. He was like, shit, I was in the lead through like 16 holes.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to love John Daly. He lives his life the way he wants to. You know, he tried to get skinny, tried to do the lap, tried to get, now he's just kind of given up. He's like, look, I'm just going to be a complete piece of crap, and love me or hate me, I don't care.
Now, is his boy in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are like, you know, some of the movers and shakers in Tulsa at this deal. We kind of snuck our way in.
Yeah.
Daly rolls in a Dallas Cowboy t-shirt, Dallas Cowboy shorts, and flip-flops. And people just ate it up.
All right. So and you also went to the Faraday thing as well?
Yeah, Schultz and I did. And my God, Schultz giggled like a little girl the entire time. Chuck and one of his buddies from his fraternity were out there, and it was funny. I mean, if you guys ever get a chance to see David Faraday, that guy could have a career as a comedian.
Yeah.
They came out at the beginning and they said, you can take as many pictures as you want, but seriously, please don't record anything and put it on social media, or NBC will literally fire David.
Yeah.
It was like a cross between Bill O'Reilly and Jordan Peterson, some of his political views. They were funny.
Oh. All right. And then another thing that I saw, didn't know it was happening. Taylor Gooch had a tournament on Monday at Tulsa Country Club. Amazingly, we didn't get an invite. I'm not sure how that got overlooked. I literally, when I found out about it, because I saw it on his social media, I started searching to try to figure out how much it was to get in this tournament. I could not find a place that told you. I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking through his social media, and he posted a whole bunch about it on Monday. It was kind of cool, but it rained out and everything. Well, one of the prizes they're giving away was a Rolex watch, and it was based on anybody that got closest to some hole or something. So they had like an 8-person putt off to see who won the Rolex watch. And so he showed everybody putting, shows the guy that wins it. Now you'll never guess the guy who wins this Rolex watch.
Someone you know?
Taylor Gooch.
Not Taylor Gooch. He wasn't playing in it. I did go to Scotland with this guy's brother.
Oh,
This would be our Governor Stitt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, they never said
Robert's.
anything.
Do you see Robert's
Wow.
face? Oh my God.
Yeah.
The tribes are going to have a commercial on this
Yeah.
one, man. He released all these criminals and won a Rolex watch.
Yeah. He's a hell of a putter.
So you went to Scotland with Keith?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes, I did. And Hobie Higgins and all those guys, all the TCC guys and Joby.
I did not know that. Next time I see him, I'll tell him I know you.
Okay.
I see Keith all the time.
Okay. Yeah. He's a good guy. Funny. I mean, but those guys play at a whole different gear.
Yeah, he's an Oak Tree guy. Did you know that?
Is he?
Yeah, he's a member of Oak Tree.
Okay. I thought he was isn't he at Tulsa Country Club still?
Probably.
He's probably at a couple.
Yeah.
And he's international. He's big time now. So
he's
but
big
no, I
time.
saw that on social media and saw his. I'm like, dude, I'm 98% sure that's Stitt that just won that.
You know, speaking of Stitt, I saw him at the tournament.
Oh, you did?
I did. I saw him in the gear shop.
Oh,
yeah.
Give him a little pat on the butt. Say good job.
I didn't. I would have. But he was busy taking pictures.
Hey, let me show you what they use these sand traps for in Scotland.
Hey, full disclosure, I actually voted for the governor.
There you go. Hey, I like to see that you're you know.
Something.
Yeah.
Lots of votes for the man, not the party.
That's it. Sometimes you got to vote for, you know, you should never vote based on your party. You should vote on who you think would do the best job. That's on my personal opinion.
Which is what I did. So.
All right. So you guys got any other stories that you can come up with? I got a couple that I got because, you know, one, I was working, so I was inside the ropes. So I got to talk to a lot of the TV guys and different things like that. So I got a couple here. You guys got any stories, Pat?
I do have one brief one.
Okay.
If I can make it brief. So Trey Potts and I, we started drinking the big beers because it's the only way to go. I mean, even though they were a little pricey, it was cold enough out that the beer didn't get warm by the time you were done. So we got us a couple of big beers in us, and he said, man, I gotta go take a leak. It's like, all right. So he went down to we were on the grandstand behind 18. And about that time, Philly called and said, hey, I'm done with my shift. Where are you guys at? I said, hey, we're behind 18 up in the grandstands. I'll wait on you. Trey's going to go find the bathroom. So I waited. Finally, 2 or 3, however many it was of those big beers really started to kick in. And I finally was like, man, I got to go find the bathroom. And I, old man, doubled over, walked from the 18 grandstands to the bathrooms between 18 and 15, I think it was, tee box, and just damn near had to pull over and piss in the tree. So my lesson there is when those big beers start to kick in, go to the bathroom.
Clean it up.
Oh my gosh. And then it was painful.
I was with a friend of mine, and we were walking on that back road back to 13, you know, from about 8 tee box. It was a back, you could go the back way.
Yeah.
Back in the, like you were going to Joe's house almost.
Yeah.
And so my friend had to go to the bathroom, and he didn't want to wait in line, the real long lines. So he was like, maybe I just go into the trees here. I was like, well, you can't go in the trees, but there's a maintenance area back there. So he went back, and there was a porta potty back in the maintenance area. He walked up to the maintenance people and said, hey, I'm either going to go pee in these trees or you're going to let me go to the porta potty. And they said, you can go to that porta potty. Yeah. So
amazingly, I have a bathroom story. Relatable.
There you go.
So
and the bathrooms were very fast.
Oh yeah. So I was on Sunday, I was following Walking with Max Homa. Okay. Now I'd worked my shift, so I still had all my PGA gear on. I had my hat, my jacket, had my credentials. I'd kind of maybe kept my credentials that let me inside the ropes. So, you know, I'm looking pretty official. So I'm sitting there and they're playing, and it's on 8, the par 3. And I see Lucas Herbert head off, and he's going behind the tee box and coming back, and he's kind of messing around. He hits a ball, and I'm standing kind of off to the, left side, and he's coming right at me. And I think, you know what, we're close, but I didn't think we were that close. I thought, he's working. You probably don't want to talk to me now. Well, he's coming over there, and I look around, and there's the bathroom right behind me, and he's making a beeline. And I said, "Sir, do you need to go to the restroom?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "Everybody make a path." I start screaming, dude. I'm like a bouncer from like your like Club Med or something. I'm like, make a path, player in the way, make a path. And I'm kicking people because this line is like a mile long, and these people are looking at me, and I'm just shoving them. And then I'm like playing bodyguard outside the bath. I don't know. Nobody's telling me to do this. And then I get him back on the course. I'm like, "Hey, there you go."
Get your inner Patrick Swayze going.
Yeah.
What was that movie, Roadhouse?
Yeah. So that was my brush with greatness. I help guys.
Chuck and I think Chuck would probably agree. The highlight of our whole tournament on Wednesday, we went over to the short game practice area and struck up a conversation with Riggs, Frankie, and Trent from Foreplay.
Okay.
Those were the nicest guys you could ever want to meet. They probably talked to us close to 10 minutes, told them about the league. They were like, "Oh man, that's awesome. Where do you guys play? Who all's in it?" And
yeah,
told them how that worked, and told them how much we enjoyed what they did, because it was a great way to be involved with golf and talk about golf, but not just watching a PGA tournament or something.
Right.
And we invited them to be on this very podcast. We talked to Trent. We went back and called him over and said, "Hey, we're kind of embarrassed, but we do have this podcast with our league we do every week, and we talk about a lot of the stuff you guys talk about. We'd love to have you guys on to kind of, anybody that could come on, tell the story of how you guys got started and all that." He was so nice, gave us an email address. We sent an email. Haven't heard anything back yet, but they were still doing content like, late Sunday night in Phoenix, I think they were. So I don't think they've all probably gotten back on into the office and everything yet. So
no, they have a tournament out in Phoenix they're running right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I was listening to the podcast, and they were like, they're dying. They're like doing a podcast in a hotel a lot.
I saw some of that last night. So
yeah,
fingers crossed. If I don't hear anything, tomorrow will be a week. So I was going to reach back out and give them a little more bit of maybe a script of what we might talk to them about. And if you guys could give us 20 minutes, we'd like to. Yeah,
give us one of us jump on. Give us 20 minutes. We'll make time for you.
Yeah.
Well,
we just love
and I think one of the best things I think that I would want to hear is how they got started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How they got in with Barstool.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were all just working there and then came up with the idea of this podcast. Yeah, I'd love to hear about that. And I'd also like to hear about, it's really, like they talk about Joe Rogan's podcast all the time, how it's just kind of a new genre of conversation, and these guys kind of reinvented the way people watch and talk about golf, right? With their scrambles against the pros and stuff like that. And they've really opened up a whole new, they're kind of the forerunners of everybody that's popping up now. So,
right. So they're kind of the opposite of you've got the no laying up guys, which produce tremendous, very polished content. And then you've got the Foreplay guys who are just more like us out there acting like idiots who have made these great contents. And I think one of the things that stuck out to me, because I was listening to the podcast they did the first, when after they walked with Tiger. Okay. So 18, they got to walk with Tiger about 2 holes. Tiger waved him, talked to him as he's walking up 18 on his practice round on Monday, I think it was. And one of the things they said is that, look, you think that, hey, we just came up here and because we're with Barstool and because we're with this, we got to do this. He said, one of the things that stuck out to me, he said, look, this has been about 3 years in the making. Us making a relationship with somebody, spending time with them, and that person introducing to somebody else who introduces somebody else, and, just building those contents. And I think that's one of the things those guys have benefited from. They, you know, it's a long process. You think it's just, hey, you know, I want to walk up to somebody and say, it's my podcast, come talk to me. And these guys have spent a lot of times building relationships in this industry. So
what I hear you saying, next year, year 3 is our breakout year.
I think so.
Yes.
I think it is.
That's how I heard it.
And I don't know that they really necessarily have better stories than us. It's just people know who they're talking about when they tell their stories.
Yeah.
So we were asking them about Fat Perez, and we asked them about Kisner, you know, and you know, it's just they didn't make Kisner famous, but you know, between them and Bob Does Sports, everyone knows who Fat Perez is now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was watching something, and this is going off into a thing, but I've been watching a lot of stuff about Dave, the El Presidente from Barstool, and how that whole thing started. You know, because he really built a brand and an industry around, you know, and it was about being first a piece of a newspaper he's putting out, a 4-page little newspaper he's putting out himself. And then it turned into a online thing because some guy said, look, I'm moving to New York and you're in Boston and I'd like to read it. Can you put it online for me if I build you a website? And he goes, as long as I don't have to pay for it, sure, I'll do that. And that's how it became a blog before blogs were cool. And then it was one of the guys said, hey, I'm going to do this new podcast thing. He said, and Dave said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it was the guy, it wasn't Big Cat, it was the other guy from the Barstool. And next thing you know, they start doing all the podcasts. It's amazing how that all kind of built up and just kind of blew up, and he at the right time, you know, right stuff. So no, I think so. Look, we can get them on here. I mean, it's like this. Look, the main purpose of this whole podcast was we could talk about our stories, remember them when we look on. And if somebody else thought they're entertaining, that would be great.
Right.
You know, and really most of these podcasts, what it is at one point, somebody gets them to generate something out in the ether. You know, they get a little hot, they get a little, you know, starts getting spread around. The next thing you know, they blow up.
We got to start doing more video of our tournaments and blasting this out on Twitter and stuff, and hopefully get some retweets.
Okay, I've got a great idea there. So, but now we're going into a deep. Okay, so
we'll have to black Senator's face out like Club Pro guy.
The only way he's going to be on there if we can get Stid on there with him. I mean, it'll be a whole thing, but we'll see if we can get there. No, I thought about this.
I do want to run one day, and there are some things I don't want on there.
Yeah, well, you know, you can we'll black out. We'll put disclaimers on everything you did. Sure.
We'll wait till you're in a bunker, and then one of us will be in a sheep costume and run out as fast as they can.
No. So I thought about this. It's a 4-man 3-hole contest, and you could do it really quick. And what it is you just basically have, it's kind of like a horse race, you know, last man in the hole, highest score goes out, and videotape that. And so it's only 3 holes. It's pretty quick. You're introducing yourself to 4 guys. I thought that would be a really great content. My really thought was if I could take that to somebody like No Laying Up, who's got a big fan base, and say, look, you go put this contest to all your people, and then we'll, you know, then you edit it for them and build into content. But I think we could do that. You know, we could go through the league and have 4-guy contests where you just have 3 holes. But you're videotaping every shot of 3 holes. I like it. 3 holes with Sandy.
All right.
I would do it. I mean, it takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of the thing is like for us, I think it's getting the knowledge base to be able to make the videos, produce them pretty quickly, and make them look pretty good in the videotaping everything, and have everybody, you know, because you just got to switch off the phones and everything you do it. I can make a better video with my phone than I can with my camera.
Yeah, because like the guys from Foreplay were videoing while they were just sitting around under the tree doing podcast material.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like a guy with a harness with a little bar over with like the big, you know, digital SLR camera doing the video. And we're going to have to hire somebody to do that. We need an intern.
We need an intern. It's all about the intern. So, But no, I like it's even like this. Like they just live stream all their podcasts. You know, they tape them like this and live stream them, and that becomes it. So no, I agree. We could do something like that. I think it'd be fun.
We need to come up with something for Old Kinderhook, because that has enough potential for disaster already pre-built into it, that something's going to go down at Kinderhook.
And one thing I really would like to do is to have a end of night podcast.
Oh, at Kinderhook?
Yeah, where we sit around a table, I bring out the mic and just record it right there.
That's a good idea.
You know, this mic I have will do a full surround on it, or it'll do like in your individuals.
If we would have had video of Phillips about to pass out and they're like, hey, young lady, can you give him a ride to the clubhouse? But first, could we get 3 drinks, please?
And put it on his tab, please.
Oh yeah. I mean, we would be flying private to Kinderhook this year if we had got that on video.
Oh, all right. So I think so. I'm a big fan of that. I'd like to continue to keep pushing that. I do think making little events, making some videos, and probably testing some stuff between now and Kinderhook would be good. So we'll kind of get that. And I think like what I found is about 3 holes, because I did that one recording of just playing 3 holes. I think that's about enough time. Any more watching one of us play more than 3 holes is kind of painful. I mean, at that point it goes from funny to painful. So, but let's do that. All right, real quick.
Speaking of Kinderhook, though, I'm gonna play 9 there tomorrow.
Oh, cheater! You're gonna Tiger Woods us. You're gonna fly up there and have the head pro walk you around.
That's right. I'm gonna take some dirt out, do some soil samples. I'm staying there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my location there at Lynn Creek, and so
might as well. Okay.
Best deal in town.
There it is. So, all right. So what I want to do is we've watched these guys play. These are professionals playing. We saw how they practice, what they did for putting, what all the different things they did. So my question for each of you is, what did you learn? What are you going to take with you from this point forward? But I want you guys to think about that. But first off, I got 2 observations I want to bring up while you guys think about what you learned, because I know you guys aren't prepared for shit. First off is Spieth's practice swing. You guys all see his practice swing? You watched it? So I actually
fooled me every time. I thought it was his real swing.
Yeah. So I was sitting there watching him swing, and I was really kind of paying attention to what he was doing. And one thing I noticed is he breaks his front arm in his practice swing, and he breaks it in his real swing as well, which is really weird. You know, one of our fundamentals is keep your front arm straight.
But and that's one of the things I didn't really pay attention to Spieth on that, but I was really paying attention to that on everybody else. What did they do about their swing? And I mean, their front arms are locked.
Yeah.
All the way, and they do collapse. Their right elbow goes in through their right pocket and comes out their zipper. I mean, it is in there. I mean, so. But I didn't know the speed.
No, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it was really weird because I saw him kind of break both arms and then extend back out. And I thought, well, does he do that in his regular swing? And he does.
Maybe that's that's hard to repeat every time, right? Or that's the thinking. So maybe that has something to do with
the two-way miss.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's trying to get to, but I'd be like, hey, why don't you keep your arm straight? That might help you. But clearly he might know a little bit more about golf than I do. Him and his $1 million coach that follows him around. The other thing that kind of an observation, did you guys see Matty Fitzpatrick chip?
Was that the guy that did left hand low?
Yeah, cross-handed.
Yeah.
Oh, the cross-handed chip.
Yes.
I saw that and I was like, what in the hell was that? Did he did he chip like that? And people were like,
yeah.
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 He
apparently
did.
if you get the chipping hits, so that may be something I need to try.
Wow. Yeah. I was like, what in the hell? And I'll tell you another, what in the hell? Lonnie and his wife came over and watch the playoff over here. But when the dude hit the drive on 18, his follow through, did you guys see that on TV? I was like, what in the hell was that? And then he was like, I missed it. We rewound it like 10 times going, oh my God, what was that? Why didn't he hit a 3-wood? Oh.
Well, I mean, but his swing was, something happened. Like he broke his collarbone or something.
Yeah,
he was so flat on the way back, and his fall, oh man, it was just crazy. So that goes, the one thing I picked up on, I think, and I spent a lot of time at the range, the balance and the tempo those guys swing with, they don't overswing. You know, if they've got a 160-yard shot, they're probably hitting a club that they could hit 180 yards if they tried.
Right.
But I think they probably got, you know, one more club than they could hit that distance at least. But they just swing in such a manner. They're so balanced and their tempo is so good. Their low spot's the same every time. The ball's in the middle of the club face. I think we should all swing probably 80-85% swing and take one extra club and just plop it in the middle of the green. Then all you got to do is 2-putt.
Well, I'm going to ask a question though. I mean, they're big. I mean, you know, that first day I was there, Tiger, Rory, and Spieth were playing. You know, Jordan's big and long, and Tiger's big, and Rory's big. I mean, do they just hit the ball? I mean, they said on JT on the last, you know, going into 18, they said, well, he's a little jacked up. He's hitting 165 and he's hitting a 9-iron. My 9-iron on the backside is about 130. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. 35 yards longer.
You don't know what his loft is, and I'm going to say his club head speed's probably 10 or 15 miles an hour faster.
Yeah,
at the point of impact.
Maybe 20, 30, I don't know.
And then, I mean, they got all that like angle of descent, you know. I mean,
you notice the divots they take. They take big divots because they are hitting on they're compressing on the way down.
Yeah, Janie and I pointed that out to Janie. I said it was like he was just a normal swing, and they took out a pelt 8 inches.
Yeah,
3 inches wide, 8 inches long.
Their low point is a good 3 inches in front of
2
the ball.
inches, 2 inches, 2 inches under the ground, 3 inches in front of the ball. Yeah.
And you brought up a good point, Sean, I think, that they compress the crap out of the ball.
Yes.
So that's probably worth another 20 yards, the amount of that they can compress the ball versus us, because it's basically shooting off the face, right?
Right, because you look at a lot of those, they'll be 120 out or 130 out, and they're hitting like a pitching wedge or something like that, or a 56 or something. And they barely look like the club is moving. They're not swinging crazy, and they just compress that ball and it shoots out there. But Rory's only 5'9", so he's my height.
He's still pretty jacked, though.
Oh yeah, he's got some guns.
Yeah, and obviously because of that Twitter thing, they were exchanging, you know, human growth hormones, you know, after the tee box.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna Senator, look, we're not having any of your fake news here. This is a fully legitimized website podcast. We don't listen to your fake news.
Robert and I talked about this already. I mean, we got fake news flying around everywhere.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. They're all on hormone or on thyroid medication.
Yeah,
they want to be real Oklahoma males.
No, they came up and they said, "Hey, guess what? This stuff's legal here. I just got my card. It's a little dime bag for you. I got you taken care of."
Yeah, he walked in there and said, "I've got anxiety. I can't sleep. I've got a headache."
So I was talking to one of the sideline reporters. I'm not sure which one. I wish I would have grabbed his name off his tag. But he comes up and he just starts telling me stories. It's the best things if you can talk to one of the sideline reporters that walk with him. He's like, because he was telling me first, he's like Billy Ho on the last hole, Billy Horschel hits a ball into that creek on 4, okay, off to the right, and just starts berating his caddy about the fact that, look, why didn't you tell me to hit the driver? I wanted to hit the 3-wood. And I mean, look, everybody I hear from the PGA says, look, they are the CEO and they make the ultimate decision on what to hit, even if their caddy says something else. So, blaming your caddy for hitting the wrong club is just a complete douche move. But he's just berating him. And apparently, after he gets done tearing him, he goes, okay, so how much yardage do I have? And the guy goes, hell if I know. It's like, I'm just sitting here listening to you yell at me. And so he's like, look, I just need to fire your ass. So he's telling me this story. And he says, oh, and then for some reason he rolls in the story and he's just dying to tell me. He's like, look, I was following, oh snap, who was it? It wasn't Kisner. It was Watley. He said, I was following Watley at Riviera and he went like double, bogey, double, and just was in a bad headspace. He was doing everything. And he's standing out in the middle of the fairway. And all of a sudden, this big puff of smoke goes rolling across the fairway. And it is just straight up weed, right? And Watley takes a big old gut smell of it, big old sniff of it in, and just stiffs it. And like stiffed the next like 3 holes, just stiffed the ball close. And so he went up to him later. Probably shouldn't tell. He went up to him later afterwards. He said, how much weed do you smoke? He goes, dude, if I'm not playing, I'm smoking.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, I got a closing joke for us this week.
All right.
David Faraday joke. My ex-wife was such a whore, they're going to bury her in a Y-shaped casket.
Ba-dum-bum.
Oh,
Ba-dum-bum.
all right. With that, we had initially said this was only going to be a 30-minute podcast, and we've now been rolling for an hour and a half. But you know what? It was worth it. Great stories, great times out of the PGA. We're glad they came to Tulsa. We hope they come back. Maybe not too soon, but we definitely want them to come back. We really enjoyed it. I think Tulsa enjoyed it. I think the PGA enjoyed it. So, and we enjoyed you guys listening to this podcast. So until next time, you guys live large and in charge. We're out.